Welcome back to the Trysted Soul Experience. Of course, I am Mark Reid, your host. And before we dive into today's conversation, I have to ask my guest something that's been bugging me. Okay, Tom Spark. Did I get the name right?
Yes.
Is that your name?
That is what I go by. Yeah.
Is that your real name?
Yeah. No, I have a different. My name is Tom.
Yes.
I have a slightly different name, but that originally came from a DJ alias. A number of years ago, and it's kind of stuck. So
okay, we'll dive into that, bro. Okay,
yeah.
Now we've got that sorted. I want to get straight into it because I'm really looking forward to this. I've got a lot of love and respect for Tom, and I want to get straight into the deep end with a question that might revolutionise how you see yourself and your purpose. So Tom is the creator of the Spark podcast, co-owner and head of business development of Voix. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Voix. Yeah.
Voix.
Yeah.
I was like, I say Voix. It sounds like Scooby-Doo. Voix?
Yeah.
Like Voix. So you said you are a frequency, not a niche.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
You're a frequency, not a niche. Now, this saying kind of comes up, particularly for online business owners, because a lot of the time we're giving very, very conflicting advice online. Sometimes people say, hey, you need to niche down and really, really get into the detail of like who you're speaking to and why. And if you're a creative person or you're someone who is you kind of feel like your content and your business is very much an expression of all of your interests, all of these things, niching down can feel quite constrictive and it can affect how you then show up. So if you try and box yourself in too much, you then can kind of be quite constricted with your messaging, how you show up online, and then you start having these conversations about, I don't feel like my business is aligned. And it's like, yes, kind of true, but you've just boxed yourself in. Now we can unpack this more because you do actually want to box yourself in a little bit. You want to make yourself consumable online for people so they can kind of take that first step into your world. That's really important. But for you, what you need to understand about your own identity and kind of detaching your identity from how you initially present yourself online is that you are not a niche, you yourself, you are a frequency. And that's what people resonate with, okay? Like the language is in, the secret is in the language. It's like resonate. You're a frequency, not a niche. And don't worry too much about how you're kind of like defining yourself in terms of like the English language in a short bio, because that's never going to encapsulate who you are. Yeah. But what you need to know is give people a little bit of something to digest, gives them an idea of who you are, and then you show up by who you are, how you express through your content. That's what people resonate with. That's what I mean by like you're a frequency, not a niche. And that's what people can, that's given me a lot of hope being online as well and not having to like box myself in and feel constricted.
This is brilliant. This is going to lead to so much gold as we talk about the education system and being boxed in. Mm-hmm. So let me just touch on that a little bit. You've went from classroom teacher, educator, to DJ, to businessman, entrepreneur, three very different niches. How did you reconcile your journey to turn up on a frequency that is authentically Tom?
That's a really good question. So to start, I've always been into kind of music. So music, I always say I'm like an artist, musician first. And when I was growing up, that was like my background, playing in bands, all of this sort of stuff. Had a bit of an ego around all of that, as you do as a 16-year-old who's, but went over to university, kind of lost my way a little bit with drugs, alcohol, all of that sort of stuff. And then kind of got to the end of university and a master's degree as well, because it just was trying to like prolong making a choice as long as possible. And I was like, okay, right, the music, even though I'm working hard on my music, it hasn't taken off yet. I'm not making really any income from this. So I was like, what do they say? Those who can do and those who can't teach. I was like, well, at the moment, I'm not doing anything, so I guess I'll be a teacher by default. So I went into kind of the teaching side of things as I was kind of still working on the music side. And I thought, you know what, that'll be a nice little part-time thing that I can do, not realizing that teaching is a whole thing in itself. It's a whole beast. Got into teaching, actually learned a lot and loved that in a way, even though it was very, very draining, and also taught me a lot about what the education system is, and we'll definitely get into that. But then, the music career was kind of still taking off at the same time. And that's where the name Tom Spark came in, because I couldn't have both going on at the same time. Playing in the city that I was teaching in, if you're on posters or you're sharing stuff on social media, you can't have, sir, he's like, were you at the club last night? And now you're in the classroom. So I had to kind of have a different alias there to sort of exist in that space. And that's where the name stuck.
I wish I'd met you years ago, mate, because I actually did have that problem.
Ah.
So for people that don't know, I also was a teacher. So I was working in a behavioural school just outside Glasgow, a little town, big town called Johnston. And this was back in the day. I was late to Facebook and Bebo.
Bebo, yeah.
And one of the little guys from Port Glasgow, his older brother must have been at the Archies, so I was a resident in the Archies in Glasgow. And he said, I think your teacher was playing last night. And he went, no, and he's like, I'm telling you. He said, and one of the boys knows him. So they were from Port Glasgow. So Glasgow, we're southwest on the coast. If you went due north, it's like due west. So I don't really know anyone from Port Glasgow, so I don't know who they knew. But anyway, if they're meant to find you, they do. They found my Bebo name. They even found out my nickname, which is Sparky.
Oh, no way.
Right. My dad's name's Tom.
Yeah.
So it's kind of mad that you're...
Yeah.
DJ alias name Tom Spark is my dad's name and my nickname. Says my dad doesn't call me Spark, he calls me Spark. I like Spark. So it's crazy parallels. Anyway, I walked into school and I'm like, all right, DJ Sparky. And I'm like that. Oh no, I just kept walking. And I'm like, oh, were you mixing the minge at the weekend, sir? And I'm trying not to laugh. I don't know whether to give them into trouble, laugh with them, or just continue to ignore them. But anyway, eventually I went, I'm gonna own this. I said, so it wasn't like normal school where I wonder if this person will kick off today. It was like when it was a behavioural school. And again, without going too much into my work, reading their files, you know why. It was just little kids that had no real chance. And I enjoyed them. I enjoyed this type of school more than the mainstream stuff. So I said, maybe not the most professional, but we always team taught. And who was with me went to get the Capri Suns and stuff for their lunch. And I just turned around with the door shut and I said, if you're not wee dicks, I'll speak to Jim and I'll get my dicks to come in and we'll do a thing and I'll show you how to DJ it. I says, it's yours to lose. Don't be dicks. I'm like, honestly? I was like, have I ever lied before? Because I get boxing under the curriculum. And the expulsion rate, because they had an outlet. So that was I always thought, like Dangerous Minds, if you saw that movie with Michelle Pfeiffer.
No.
It's when Gangsta's Paradise came out, that was the theme song for it. So she's in the hood basically, so she's like, I'm just going to meet them where they're at, meet their values, and then they loved her. So that was my thing. So I played football with them, I taught them boxing, taught them DJing, and they were on side. But from a professional point of view, I could have done with meeting you beforehand. Because Sparky boy. I'm like,
that's the interesting thing, right? It's that this is what teaching does and a lot of professions do. It forces you to, again, create a caricature of yourself that is, again, very boxed in. And I think that's part of the reason I do the work I do now, is because even though I just spoke about how when you're branding yourself, you do need to kind of make yourself digestible. However, as a profession that you can see yourself, or you see people around you committing to, you see how much of themselves they trim off to appear professional and say certain things. And also, obviously you're around kids, so you do modify your behavior as any adult would, of course, but not be allowed to be yourself. And that conversation you have is like, oh, now I'm like putting on a performance, and then you go home and then you be yourself. It's a very interesting way to exist. And then when your personal life, when that Sparky or Spark comes into your professional life, there's this weird, I don't know what you felt, but this kind of like conflict and also kind of a bit of relief. And then they see you as a human, and it maybe even leads to more connection. But then, I don't know, the other adults treat you differently. It's a very weird scenario to be in. And like weirdly, the teachers I think who do well, particularly in secondary schools, I find like they are the ones who like trim off the parts of themselves and, you know, shave themselves to the role. I don't know about you, but I saw that.
For sure, mate. They were the ones that did well in terms of the progression to be heads of department or deputy heads and principals and stuff like that. But I think that's where you and I are very similar. I was like, I'm sick of cutting away at myself and having more wounds to bear to the world. So I actually helped me. Now that you bring it up, these kids, although they were a gift in other ways, I've never saw it from allowing me to be myself. Because I just thought, like, if I'm this Mr. Perfect, then energetically that's what you think you have to be. When that's the box that the system tries to put us in anyway. Just be this way, look at the front. If you're a visual learner and you have good memory recall, you're smart. That's not how kids learn. My background was physical education. So I remember having one of the teachers that did well. The kids hated her. Her name was Louise. Oh, I won't say it. I should not watch the podcast. Louise Baird. And they used to call her the pigeon. Kind of look like that. She used to, and used to just throw rubbers at her, right?
Jeez,
But she was so hard on the kids, and she was demanding to call her Miss. We were all by first name terms. These were kids that were expelled from normal schools, right? And I'm like, you don't get it. You've never lived a day in the real world in your life. So everything was negative reinforcement. She couldn't handle them, so it was the first thing she did. Took PE away from them. Saying the names of them. And so we get boxing into the curriculum, and I think about 4 or 5 months the expulsion rate had went like that. I was in the older unit, so there were a lot of testosterone figuring out who they were, but they had a channel and they had an outlet for the rage and some of the travesties they saw at home. And then one day one of the little guys, Kieran, got a promotion. He's obviously ready to turn 14, 15. He came up to the older unit and he was the big dog at the little one, so he was trying to act like a prick. And one of our kids, Charlie, and he was a lefty at football, and his southpaw, it just looks better, I feel, everything left. And I could see his leg going underneath, so he's whispering into his ear. And they're on task and they're doing all the work. And he said, I could see him like, fucking shut up. And I was like, what's going on here? Nothing. Of course, you can't grass or dog people in. And he obviously said something about his mum or something that was too much. He flipped the table, jumped up. As he came up, never tried to power it, just lifted his head. It was up 3, 2, bang. And it was right. And there was a part of me, I was like, oh, wow. I actually forgot I was teaching at the moment. I was like, oh, you can't do that. And I was like, well, that was poetry. I was like, laid out like Jesus of Nazareth. Right? I was like, wow. So we went in for the debrief meeting after school. And Louise Baird said, well, I don't know what you expect when you bring glorified violence into a curriculum. And I lost my shit. Right? I went, are you fucking serious? I was like, no wonder the kids fucking hate you. Excuse me? And I says, no, actually, I won't. I've got the same education degree you have. I says, but I'm just a clown with a ball and a whistle. I said, but I've forgotten more about pedagogical practices that you'll ever know. I says, because I actually remember that I get into teaching, not to show how much I know, but actually to help kids know themselves. I says, fuck this, Jim. And I said, this is bullshit. And I walked out of the meeting. And I got a written warning the next day. I also got a pat in the back before I get the written warning saying, well done for standing up for what you believe in. And I said, but you're still going to issue that? You're part of the problem. This is why the whole system's fucked. And I said, do what you need to do, dock my pay, whatever, I'm at. And that was the thing that made me go back and really sit with, what are you doing here? What are you doing? That you hated the system when you were these kids' age. Why are you consciously making a choice? Why am I putting myself in the box now of constraint? This is something I don't believe in. So big decisions had to be made. So yes, to your point, mate, I definitely saw the people that trimmed, that went that way. I'm so glad I never. Yeah. So glad. Yeah,
but it's that whole idea of you can't solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that created it, and that's true of a system as well. Like, even though we might come in, I don't know about you, but I was like, okay, I'm going to change education forever. Yes, maybe still, but not through that system. It's going to be separate from it. It's almost like that, almost like the manifestation sort of stuff. It's like focus your attention on what you want to create. And it's like, if you do it within the system, you're just so confined and constricted and tied down with things. But it's like, no, you have to actually just remove yourself from it, draw your attention away from it, put attention onto something else. And that's what the online space is doing. It's changing education. And even kids like, they're not looking at their teachers. They're looking at their favorite guru, their favorite Rolex wearer online, and being like, okay, how do I learn from you? And they're using their slang words are now passive income. Like, that's what they're talking about, and it's great to see. But the system will have to try and clamp down on it, because like, as soon as things start losing control, that's when they like grab on tightly. And I don't know what it's like. I haven't spoken to teachers in a long time, but I can imagine it's difficult right now.
I can imagine that, mate. But again, I'm just enjoying being in my lane, and it is enjoy watching you and yours as well, because we are teachers, we're just not in the system. You try and create that change in the system. I just found I was creating more of the system that I was trying to change. Wasn't going to work. So what advice would you give to someone, let's go for a young entrepreneur. You can fill in the age of there that's maybe been told they're too much, they're all over the place, they're not smart enough, they have to colour within the lines, whatever it may be. What advice would you give to them for owning their frequency that they're at to deliver their genius?
So you're a frequency, not a niche, and you have a mission, not a model. So you have a mission, not a business model. I think a lot of times when you get into this space, you start thinking about, well, what model is going to best serve me in this? And yeah, these are important things to consider. And look, everything works. You can literally make anything work. Like my first business in quotation marks, was like a music coaching business where I uploaded the videos onto a private Instagram account. I had a Patreon page that was taking 20%, and I had a link in my bio, and I did one video a week, and then people somehow found it, and then Patreon took 20%, and then I just gave them access to a private Instagram page where they hosted all the videos. Like I made it work. Like there was a need, but it was a mission first. I want to teach people how to make better music. And people found a way to work. Even though I added all of this friction and made it really hard, people found a way. And that's the thing. Everything works. It doesn't matter. Like if you have a mission, and this is the core, and this is one of the big things that I'm kind of, I don't want to say against, but I notice it within like the online space, is this over obsession with the model. Which model is best going to serve me? And you have people end up building a self-serving service, okay, based on a model. So they choose a model, and it's like a self-serving service, rather than actually thinking, right, I have a mission, and which model is going to best serve the mission. And then a lot of people, what I see, I noticed this actually the other day, some people make decisions to like burn their business down, let's say, and there's two ways to do it, either out of fear or out of courage. Some people do it because they know that they've got a new mission and they've completed that, and that's amazing. Some people do it out of fear because the model that they had is no longer working for them, and it's hard now, and they're like, oh, I need to find a new model to make it work for me. If you're that person, you don't have a mission, you have a self-serving service where you're doing something to kind of for yourself under the guise of coaching, education, whatever, and you're probably just teaching that model. Whereas if you have a mission, you just find the way to make it work. Yeah. And that's the advice. It's like focus on the mission, and that solves so much of your branding problems. If you just stop focusing on metrics and all of this sort of stuff. It's like, I have a mission, so I'm going to just plow forward, and that comes through on your content. It's like, oh, clearly there's a sense of momentum with this person. There's something I can grab onto, and it's going to go in a direction. Whereas if your focus is not on the mission and your focus is on getting clients, like, oh, and then you're in the DMs talking to someone, they feel that and it pushes them away. Go on a mission, and then your education, the way I see it is like your mission that you've gone on personally, that's you carving the way, that's your leadership qualities coming through, and through achieving a certain result and now embodying whoever you are after completing that mission, you now turn that journey into frameworks, structures, models to make it easier for other people. That's your offer. That's your business. Focus on the mission, and then it's like the wake of the boat. It's like that turns into your business, and then other people can get there. That's the way to do it. And if you focus on that, you will never have a problem selling anything. But if you're focusing on how do I make money, how do I build a self-serving service, then you will just focus on like the lack of clients, or the clients feeling disappointed because they need that leadership from you. So yeah, focus on mission over models. Yeah, is the advice.
So when you're model over mission, you're in the frequency of lack.
Yeah. Yep.
When did you realise that your mission was outside the education system?
So that's a nice question. So for me personally, and again, this is where the name Tom Spark came from. Like, I'm a big believer that we are all divine sparks of God, that we're a beautiful, each a unique individual expression of the divine, and that comes through, that the divine is looking to work through us. I mean, the prayer of St. Francis, make me an instrument of thy peace. I fully believe in that, and it's our role a lot of the time is to allow our co-creator to work through us. And that was my big mission through music, was I wanted to create music, not for people to get fucked up to, but I wanted to create music that inspired people. I always rang in my head when Kanye West said, he's like, my songs are like your double espresso. And like, I wanted that in a way. I wanted you to listen to the music and feel inspired, feel that you could go quit your job, take on that challenge, ask out the go, whatever that thing you felt like you needed to do. I wanted my music to be the thing that you could listen to and you could feel like you could do it. So the mission hasn't changed. It's the same thing. It's like allowing people to kind of express whatever is true and unique to them. And like I said, with kind of like the mission, it's kind of manifested differently over time. But now the reason I'm a big believer in the education businesses is because of exactly what I said. It's that you can go on missions and you can turn that into an offer and systemize things, then it's going to give you income, and then you can go on to a different mission, and your purpose over time will evolve through these different missions, and you become more valuable. So one of the beliefs I hold and I listen to every morning is, the more I learn, the more money I make. The more money I make, the more I learn. And then the other one is like, the more adventures I have, the more money I make, the more money I make, the more adventures I have. And that's all XP, right? It's like all XP. And I'm a big believer, the more XP in life I get, that means like the more income is going to come to me. And then I know the reason that I feel that works for me is that I know I'm not going to spend it on stupid shit. I'm going to spend it on learning. Like more, because that's what's exciting to me, and I know that makes me more valuable. And it's just, if you can create that loop, like, you have the best job in the world. Yeah, so that's why I believe in it. That's the mission.
Just like beats.
Yeah.
the parallels are uncanny, mate. Like, my company name started as an illegal rave. I think I told you, the Trysted Soul.
Yes, the Trysted Soul. Yeah.
Right, so a tryst is two lovers that meet in secret.
Yeah.
So that was the night we never ever took to the club. So even in here, you'll see like music frees your mind. It's like a mental prison. So the only colour I could see was Trysted Soul. So even the branding is the same. And I'm looking at, oh shit, man, it was like that one of those aha moments, you like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, you go, it was inside you. I was coming up with wanky names for podcasts, right? And I was just like, that's shit. And I was just thinking, and this was like 6 years ago, and only now I'm recording content and doing it. So it was shown to me, the Trysted Soul experience. It was like, and I went,
yeah.
Yeah. It's been there the whole time. And I was like, even that, like, here's my two favourite house tracks. Is like Kings of Tomorrow, Finally, and Red Carpet, All Right. And I put them together and changed the order. But here, it says Life is a Dream. And we took, I was a chick talking about MDMA and DMT, and it was this whole big thing in YouTube, and we just used to like take the MP3 off it, use it as an acapella, distort it, put reverb over it, change the pitch. And it's like, how can DMT be illegal when your lungs produce it, your brain produces it every night when you go to sleep? Life itself is just a projection of your subconscious reality. And that's like everything pretty much I teach now. But I just thought it was cool shit. For my mate said too many party prescriptions. They'd be like, I was talking to me, what was that tune you gave me? Like that. I was like, wow, your future self knows. So the mission, as you said, hasn't changed. I just always wanted to take people on a journey. No one played house and techno the way we did. So it's not changed. So it's really, I love hearing you talk about it, and the passion and how you articulate it is everything, bro.
So it's one of the things I remember. One of the reasons I kind of left DJing behind and was I remember gigging, and like so with you, it's like I'm curating a journey for you. Fucking listen, like, and I know you kind of are, but when you see people blasted off Ket and whatever, and like, I think they're enjoying themselves, but I sobered right up. In my last year in the music industry, I was completely sober. So like, looking out as you're playing onto the state of the party, I'm like, you're not here. Like, I mean, and I'm kind of facilitating this in a way, but like, I put so much into this. Like, there was like a bit of a heartbreak. So like, you're not listening. Like, listen to it. There's something here for you. I've put something into this. If you actually listen, and it's not just the rise and the drop. Like that, there's things I've put into this, and like
subtleties that are everything.
Yeah. That like will make sense to you, and they'll unlock that. And it's hard when you're an artist and you pour into that, and then you feel it's just like people just waiting for a drop, and you're like, fuck, right.
Yeah, mate, I feel that pain massively. I remember how you're speaking, it always reminds me of the scene from White Men Can't Jump when he's got Jimi Hendrix on, and like, Wesley Snipes like, who's this? It's like Jimi Hendrix. He's like, yeah, I know who it is. Why are you playing it? He says, I like to listen to it. He says, that's the problem with you white people. He's like, what? He meant, you listen to it, and he says, what do you want me to do? Eat it? And he says, no, I want you to hear it.
Yeah.
He says, there's a difference. And I remember my dad telling me this about to do with my mum, and he said, he's like, listen to her, you don't need to hear her. Now, full disclosure, ladies, I don't agree with that. Active listening is everything. But I remember thinking, there's so many people that pretend to hear you when they're just listening to the surface level noise. They don't get the depth of the stuff. And the journey that we were taking people on, that was the same kind of heartbreak that I felt with the education system. It just highlighted where my limitations were. And highlighted where my saviour complex was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to take you on a journey. I'm trying to make you have a better life as well. But also, what about doing that for yourself first? And as you say, mission, and let that ripple out, and let other people from there, and by proxy, go, how did you do that? And let me find my version of the same thing, because it's all just a remix, right? We're all playing the same track, just slightly different expressions. It can be a lonely place up there. Like when I come off everything, I never touched drugs until I was 26. Then I had 18 months going berserk, and I realised why I never. And so I went in it quick, and I get out it quick, but because I must come down, and it was a lonely place on the other side. But now I was going, wow, man, like I can really see everything. And as I said, like, get 1,500 people in this front arch. Maybe 10 of you are actually here.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and it's hard as well, right? And I don't know what your thoughts are on this, because when you're in and there is something magic about it as well. Like people at the raves, there is a feeling and energy, and I think everyone dancing to the same tune. You know, there is something very special about that, and music does draw that out of people. And yeah, I've always wondered why that scene particularly. Why is there the need for drugs in it with the music when the music is so amazing? And this isn't like a judgment thing, but it is like, is it like just the escape of it all, and like the music transports you away and then you crash hard back into reality? But it's just very interesting, like why drugs seem to be so closely entangled with that type of music as well. They seem to be like one and the same. And yeah, what's your thoughts?
Massively, but like I grew up on music. That's why I've got a whole arm dedicated to music.
Yeah.
And that was how my dad bonded with me. So like the 60s, 70s and everything in between was on all the time. I've had that conversation with myself. So you know the tune Operation Blade, Bass in the Place? Bass in the Place, London.
Oh yeah, I think I heard that, yeah.
So he was our resident DJ, Mark Sherry. And Mallorca Lee, who was the MC in that, was from the rave era, Ultrasonic. He's from our local town. God bless him, passed away last year. They were my three voices growing up, was Tupac, Liam Gallagher and Mallorca Lee. So it left a massive hole, but the dance scene where we grew up was massive. And then when Mark Sherry went worldwide through the success of Operation Blade, no one was able to fulfil his genius the way that, because everything was vinyl, mate, but it was 3 decks and a cappellas with everything. I remember standing beside him going, I want to do this. I've either been on the dance floor going berserk, or just watching his every move in the DJ booth going, this is unbelievable. And at that point, 1999, ecstasy was the big thing, so everyone was loving that. When he left, it shifted though, mate. It went into this like cheesy kind of donk and stuff that we're playing, and I was like, oh my god, was it trance was starting to kind of die. Techno was coming back up again, but they weren't playing like good music, and the drugs had changed it. It went to cocaine. So everyone that was loving themselves was now all fighting with themselves. And where I come from, they don't need more from that. So I definitely judged the electronic dancing, but I went back and I was like, it was the same in the 60s.
Yeah.
It was just LSD and acid and mushrooms and opium and whatever else they were doing. So I'm going, I refuse to believe that music and drugs have always went hand in hand when you talk about from the sacred sounds and how it's went. Just man somewhere along the scenes. I picture it in jazz and swing and things like that. I think the 60s is where it began. Yeah,
it's interesting. Yeah, one of the things that like comes up for me, because I mean, I'm sure you've had some of those like after parties where you're listening to a track and you've had some party prescription. Like you can take yourself to an interesting place, particularly if you close your eyes, and there is something magical about that. And one of the things I always think about is there's a famous Albert Einstein quote, which is imagination is the preview of life's coming attractions. And like he was really big on, and that's basically like Neville Goddard, the power of like imagination and intention. It's a huge thing. And one of the reasons I think the medium of music is such a profound thing is because it is like, you know, frequencies. It bypasses it bypasses language and kind of penetrates language and goes straight into you. Similar to how art, and there's another saying which is art teaches you how to see, but I also like the idea that art teaches you how to see, music teaches you how to feel. And if you close your eyes, and what I think why music is special is because it allows room for your imagination. So it's like it's a co-creation experience. You know, if you close your eyes and listen to a piece of music, you can literally to be transported to a place you've never been, and you can feel things you've never felt. And it's like, oh, wow, that's pretty amazing. So I think, good music really is a medicine, and it can really powerfully impact everyone. And then it's just, who's the medicine maker, you know, like where are you receiving these frequencies from? And I don't know, but I think that's why music is so powerful. It's just allowing the imagination to play a part in that experience as well. Sure, you co-create it. Yeah.
That was actually a conversation we had at an after party in mine. It was always in mine.
Yeah.
And I was sitting melted with one of my mates, and what was the song that I played? I think it was Blaze, When I Fall in Love. And it was like, because it was like just chilling out house, and one of my mates went like, oh man, I'm instantly back. Cafe Mambo, I remember Eric Malaro played this, blah blah blah, and he said, that's the thing about music, it just teleports you straight back. And I said the version of what you've just said. I says, but it can also teleport you to somewhere you've never been before. The first time you hear a new track, you just go, wow.
Yeah.
You just,
it's like a new colour. Yeah.
You are the track. You're like, you're just that. But then at the same token, I'm going, is that just a deeper past experience where you remember the very fabric of your soul? You're connected to the rhythm of life itself. Don't I go too woo-wooing out there? But I'm just kind of like, some of the best philosophy I've ever had has been off my face and panic prescriptions at 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's why I wonder why it is so, like, that scene is so intoxicating, is because there's like an element of truth that is reached, but the way you get there is unsustainable. It's false. It's false. Yeah. It's like beware of unearned knowledge, and it's almost like playing with those things. It's like, it does point to, you know, maybe even similar experiences to plant medicine and breathwork sessions you can do, that, you know, that sense of oneness, connection, but the way in which you're getting there is going to force you to, it's not sustainable. It's like an elastic band. You can ping there, like almost touching back the other way. And then you kind of start chasing, like, oh, there was something there. And like the way you're chasing it is never going to get you there.
It's escapism, mate. I've found, and I spoke about this on a podcast of a brother that we both know, love and revere, Theo, and we're talking about plant medicine and that escapism. I say it's no different from the ecstasy back in the 80s and the 90s, the acid, all the stuff that we've had. I was like I remember Joe Dispenza at an advanced retreat I did with him years ago, and he was talking about veganism, and he said, if we get any vegans in the place, lady come up, and I said, I need you to come up here. And I said, right, imagine I've got 2 things here. He says, here I've got a quadruple stack bacon cheeseburger, with onion rings and barbecue sauce and like fries, deep fried, not canola oil, it's not like olive oil. Says then here we've got this mocha chakalaka super multi-sized thing, Oreo shake to wash it all down, and then here we have a biodynamic, organic, in season rainbow platter with every fruit you could ever imagine. What one do you want? And the lady went, can't believe that's even a question, Joe. I mean, why am I up here pretending? That's like, why the hell would I ever do that? Like, what's your point? You're making this, you know how bad that is. He says, well, what do you want? She's like, that obviously. He's like, okay, thank you very much, give her a big hand. I was just like that, 750 people watching. She went back down, and then he just started to teach again. And someone put their hand up. He says, yes. He went, what happened there? I said, I'm glad you asked. He said, if your reason for having this is because of your hate for this, then all you're consuming with this is organic fear. And I went, that for me, because my reasons for being perfect were actually scared to be sick again after the cancer. And I just realised that's like, as petrol is the fuel that I'm putting into this. So for a lot of people with drugs, whether it's plant medicine or panic prescriptions in the scene, they're chasing the high because life feels so low. So rather than feeling the low, let me have this that's not sustainable, as you say. We can have little touches that remind us of our true essence, but people equate it to a pill. Oh, it's the pill that... No, that's who you really are when you take the masks off. Now, the work is, can you do it without the pill? And I think that's, to bring us back, I think that's where the system... The system is the pill, the education system is the pill. So as you started to move out the education system and the DJ scene, that there was more, there was a mission, it was the same, but it was different expressions, and you led into that. How did you get into the world consciously of entrepreneurship and business?
Yeah, I think initially again, it was like that extension of the work that was already existing, that teaching. Like you said, you're not still a teacher now, it's just taking a different form and the mission's still the same. Honestly, I think it was like fumbling and failing and just like trying things. And one of the big things I learned early on was this concept that you can like date an offer or you can date a business. You don't have to like marry something immediately. It doesn't have to be like perfect, rigid. It's you can date it, see if it works. Oh, oh, cool, I've signed a few clients, this is going, run it. Am I going to run that again? Yeah, actually, I think I will. No, you can do that, and that's totally fine. And that's why I love tools like Instagram, because I've made most of my money off Instagram stories and then just sending a couple of voice notes in the DMs. And I love the flexibility of that. And I think more and more I will get to a stage where it's like I end up married to what it is I'm doing. But the nice thing is that, like, yeah, you should date. You should date offers, feel into it, like, oh, I like that. Okay, this wasn't so good. And that's actually a really natural thing to do. And I think the tools like Instagram, like YouTube, they allow you to do that if you're okay with that. And I think there is a bit of pressure where it's like, you need the perfect offer, you need the perfect thing. So yeah, I think I like dated for a while in terms of offers. That was great. Worked with so many people, found out what my strengths were, built a lot of self-belief around like the value you can provide. And just kind of carried on that way, and opportunities and people have just literally thrown themselves in front of me, and long may that continue to happen. So yeah.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I've had a little aha moment there where I was going to say, oh, well, I jumped straight into marriage. That's not true. I was into personal training, and then it's progressed. I've been dating in different things. Recently, though, I've felt like the unhappy marriage, like the ball and chain. I'm actually questioning. I was like, I enjoy. I've never referred to myself as a coach. I don't like it. I'm a healer and a teacher. I was like, but the coaching aspect, I feel as if it's draining me. In-person events, masterminds, podcasts, books, the DJ, the creative part of myself, I love. So just want to honour that, say thank you, food for thought there, to see, am I ready to date again? But let's talk about your fiance, Darren. Your business fiance. How did you meet the man, the myth, the legend, Darren Lee, because you're the co-founder of...
Yeah, I'm a co-founder of the education businesses. So Darren had the agency that was doing really well, which was initially helping podcasters grow, doing very, very well. I came in, so we knew each other. We were introduced through a mutual friend called Jack Hopkins, who's a really interesting guy. And then we kind of met in Bali. We climbed a mountain. We actually did, I'm not going to say, we we met, we kind of got on, we were just friends. And then, we were in a similar space. And we were just in contact, helping each other. And then I had some skills, he had some skills. He would come in and help me with a few things. Then I would come in and help his team with like training stuff. And then over time, it just like more and more, I was just becoming part of like operations. And I was doing my own things. I had my own other clients on retainer and stuff. And then, initially like, came on to just kind of like do some coaching he was like, I want to start an education business. Like, right, this is how we'll set it up. I started doing a bit of coaching, and then it's like, okay, and now it's gone to 2 education products, well, 3 actually, and then kind of co-founding the business now, and running the masterminds, all this sort of stuff. And initially like we met, and then I was living in Bangkok at the time, and then he flew to Bangkok to interview that guy Jack, and then he also interviewed me, and then that's a good part of the story as well. Actually, we had the interview, I did the podcast with him, and I was like, you do this all the time? This is fucking awesome. And he was like, yeah, you should do a podcast. I was like, yes, I should. And then just said, right, show me how. And then started my own podcast, loved it, got good at certain things. And I was like, okay, there's, we were just aligning. It's like, okay, we're basically doing the same thing now with different strengths. And that's one of the things about our partnership that has always been, we're really lucky to have, is that we have different strengths, and we notice and respect that within each other. And that allows us to, and again, it's taken like conversations and like a real good level of communication to kind of understand how each other works. But when we allow ourselves to operate in our zones of genius, that's when we get the best results. And I think over time, we now have like full trust in, our zones of genius and allowing the other to operate there. And that's why we enjoy what we do. Yeah.
Beautiful, mate. There's so many little sub-heading questions that are coming up to me there. The zone of genius is so important, right? Why does the schooling system not talk about that?
Because the purpose of the schooling system is to make you employable at a job and to keep you in a low controllable frequency so you don't ask too many questions. And as much as that might sound like, conspiracy theory, having been in it, I can't see any other way that it's intentionally set up the way it's set up. So that's exactly why. It's because they don't want you operating in your zone of genius. They want you employable and not asking questions, which is why you do what you're told. You show up on time, you address a certain way. You know, if you start thinking outside the box, you get bad marks. Okay, bye. You know, and so how do you do that? How do you, again, you're a frequency, not a niche. All teachers are a frequency, not a niche. So how do you do that? You get people who have only ever been in the system back into the system, fully indoctrinated into a certain frequency way of being, have a blueprint they're putting out into the world. And then what happens is, rather than spend time around people doing various different things and discovering your own zone of genius in your interest, you're with a very specific type of person 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. So then you're going to inherit by osmosis their way of operating their beliefs, which is why there's so many challenges at the moment where you know, for example, I don't want to go into the trans thing as something like I hate or I'm against, because I'm definitely like, I have love and compassion for people, and like my underlying belief there is that we should be encouraging people to have love for themselves in the bodies they're born in. That's what I believe. But even then, when I was leaving school, like, you would get an email and it's like, oh, by the way, so-and-so has been away for 2 weeks. John's been away for 2 weeks and now he's coming back, and could you just refer to them as Jessica, please? And it's just an email. Just do that, please. And it's like, whoa, sorry, that goes against fundamentally everything I believe, but what are your options? And also, like, here's the other thing with teachers as well. You're fucking tired. You've got so much work to do. You're not getting much sleep. You have a caffeine addiction. Like, you are burnt out. You are like not a human being who has a lot of energy to muster up the courage to like go against the grain of things. And you go, oh, okay. So you're like beat down, you're underpaid, and you do as you're told.
Yeah. Which is a perfect model to tell other people how to do the same thing.
Yep.
Thank you, brother. That saves me from saying the same thing. And God bless my father. My father was a principal.
Yeah.
Don't know if you know
my
that.
mother too. Yeah.
So that was my fatherhood.
Yeah.
Like, Daddy, I'm just like you.
Yeah.
Do you love me yet?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that he never, it just in a form that I couldn't recognise as I was going through my stuff when we did inner child. But he loves it. But he loves that systemisation of certain things. I saw that massively through COVID and all that. It brought up the wounded boy in me, where I was disrespectful to him, but I remember it was a thought and it was out my mouth before I had realised it was just a thought. I went, I can't believe I ever fucking looked up to you. I'm like, oh. He went, what? And I went, I used to think you were the smartest guy I'd ever met in my life. And with that, a black box on the wall literally dictates how you think, how you feel, and how you act, which isn't acting, it's freezing sitting on a couch. I says, now I wasn't a big science head when I was at school, but I know oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. I says, but we've all to pretend that we're dentists and get dressed up like this. And I went, fuck that. I'm going to walk. And like, oh, lockdown. I went, fuck that. I'll never conform to this. Now, without going off on a segue here, that brought up a lot of beautiful things with me and my dad to reconcile, but he just can't understand why I had a bad experience both as student in the system and then also as a teacher, which is fine. But how was that for you? How was your mother's experience and what was she like?
Yeah, so my mother was an amazing teacher and still is in many ways. She was, one of the things I really respect about my mother is that she was obviously principal of these like very, she was primary, but like these big kind of like international schools, like jobs that people would really want. She never like would apply for them. She would just get given them. She was like, she would be like, oh no, I can't do that. Like, please, we need you to do this. And like that organic way of like finding your way to head teacher, where people are literally like, we need you to do this. You're the person for the job. Very humble. And an unbelievably hard worker. And she's an amazing woman. She like looked at her mum had MS when she was young. So from the age of 7, she was like cooking, cleaning for the family, looking after her mum. She was like the humility and like the worst thing I could ever get from my mum is if my mum called me lazy. She's like, you haven't done anything. And like, you could feel it in her, like coming through her teeth. Like you haven't done anything today. And like, it's just foreign to her because from such a young age, she was doing so much. And again, that obviously has, you measure your worth through what you do and all these things and whatever. She has her own lessons, but she was amazing. And I think there's a slight distinction between primary school and secondary. You perhaps have a little bit more freedom within primary school to an extent, to kind of be a bit more creative with curriculums, etc. But one of the things I was going to pick up on as well, that like times change, right? And although like, the way we're living our life now is very much anti the system was still beautiful and still had its place for bringing up people to a certain level and standards of living that we actually have to be very grateful for. And this is something I try and remember as well. It's like, yeah, this whole 9 to 5 thing, like there's people in the third world who like a 9 to 5, income that is sustainable, and that you just have to go to a clean office every day. Wow, that sounds amazing. And we are very like privileged that, again, this is growth, this is evolution. You have that structure in 9 to 5, and then you go, this is what I believe my parents want for me. They want me to go, well, we did the best I could, and we within this structure, we did the best we could. And they're like, off you go. And that's our job, to ask questions and to break off and do it. And it doesn't mean that we have to be like, when they were doing it, I believe my parents were good people, and I believe they had the same energy of like, let's make this better. But you didn't have those big, you didn't see someone working in Bali. You didn't see all of this. You were just like, well, this is my life. You didn't have a mobile phone. You know, you worked within what you had. And I think also I remind myself to look back and go like, everything served a purpose. You know, throughout humanity, like everything served a purpose, and this level that we're trying to operate and kind of expand into now, this is beautiful. It is, but we needed everything before it to kind of get us there.
With no contrast, we have nothing, right?
Yeah.
No, and it was the same with my father, mate. My dad, he taught primarily, he was primary school as well. So he was principal teacher in a Catholic school in a very Protestant town. And obviously in the west coast of Scotland, you've got the links to the Glasgow football clubs, which is just ridiculous. However, the Catholics, St Winning's school that my dad was at, they won the Scottish Cup out of all schools, and they won it at Ibrox, which is the home of Rangers, which is the Protestant team. So it kind of brought the town back together again, as if the Catholics have done okay, and brought like notoriety. And that was his thing, was always through the football team. And he couldn't sing, but it would always be Sonny and Cher with the deputy at Stars in Their Eyes for the school. It did make learning fun. It was fun, but it was fair. And it's the same thing, like he gets a lot of his self-worth through his intellect. So I think through sharing that, he wanted kids to feel that they're smart. Now, the double-edged sword of that is like, without your intelligence, where are you? Is there room for emotional maturity and literacy from within that, and wisdom and learned experience, rather than just the top-down stuff? But he did his best, what he knew how. Yeah, for sure. And definitely that integrity of just wanting to make a difference. And his wee catchphrase is whatever it takes. Definitely take that with me going forward.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. He's a good man. He's a good man. Anyway, let's segue from there. So let's go back to business fiance. So another thing that come up as you were talking there, and I've just did a podcast with Ryan Harrington when he spoke about this, about how it dovetails perfectly what you're saying about how the world is changing, how business is changing. Our parents never had these things as well. People that then go into business that think they're married to not only the niche or whatever, or the idea of it has to be only you. The fact that we can collaborate and co-join and all these things as well, obviously that's not just a past experience, that's a current present and a very, very aspiring future, which I'm grateful to be part of as a client. What is your views on that, or what tips would you give to people to open their mind that you don't perhaps need to go it yourself? Like, if you break out the education system as a metaphor here, know your zone of genius, can humbly let your mother look back and say, right, well, here's some areas I'm not good at, and find someone that is, as long as the mission is the same between the two of you. What advice would you give to finding someone like that? Or is it just stay on your mission and allow God in, where you and Darren met by chance?
It's not what's right, it's what's right for you. So there's no right way of doing things, and there's different seasons within business, and I think everyone goes through that solopreneur phase, and it's good to learn the ropes, and who knows, like maybe that happens like in the future with AI, that becomes much easier. But I do believe you've got to know what is right for you. And I personally now we have a team, I get a lot of energy out of that. And also the leadership skills it requires to delegate things, to be on top of your shit so you can be on top of other people's shit, is like, that's a really interesting area of growth for me right now. And, and things where it's like maybe in the past, but okay, I can probably do that tomorrow. It's like, oh shit, no, I need to get that done now because of this, and it's going to affect other people. Okay. So that's really awesome. But again, it's not what's right, it's what's right for you. What season are you in? What is right for you? Maybe you don't need a team. Maybe you just need like a VA, and that's great for you. Maybe, and it's the same thing where people are always like, hey, should I set up sales calls with my business or not? Should I run DMs or should I run automations? It's like, no, whatever you want. It works, but what's right for you? Stop looking for someone else to tell you. It's like, feel it out. And that's when businesses actually click, is when you do it in your own unique way. Like, you're a frequency, not a niche, and you have your own unique way of doing it. That's when things actually really click. It's kind of like that whole idea of you learn the rules, you learn the ropes, you understand offers, content, and sales. Understand that. Okay, now we can piece something together that is good for me. And then, maybe I get a team member that comes in here and does X, Y, and Z. And then I operate within my zone of genius. Awesome. But you really got to understand the rules, and then you can break them and build something that's good for you. That's the way I think about it.
Just launch it. Like, your market will tell you. Don't get it perfect, get it going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
With your background in teaching, is that one of the strengths that you've brought in to Voix?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think I spoke about this, not the recent mastermind, but the one before. And I'm very big on like teaching people how to teach, or coaching people how to coach, because this is actually how you make an impact. And now, one of the things I speak about is this idea of the guru identity or the mentor identity, and how to actually lean into this. And I kind of like start this off by going, what's the lowest testosterone profession? And the lowest testosterone profession is teachers. And it's like, okay, well, that's not an aspirational identity. Okay, so what do we want to be if we're not teachers? Maybe this idea of like guru or mentor is something we can actually lean into. Why? Because it means we can have a bigger impact. So our goal as a coach, it isn't to spend time with people, isn't to hold their hand, it's to have an impact on their lives. If you can have an impact on their lives by saying one word, you're a more valuable coach than someone who needs to spend 6 weeks with them holding their hands. That actually makes you valuable. So I kind of have a bit of a structure for people, and for other people, they can actually take away and use this, of how to have more impact on your clients without necessarily doing more work or them requiring more of your time. But it requires you to be a certain person and live certain things. So I always say this, like, the guru has 3 I's. Okay, I. So the underneath, we want impact. To have maximum impact, we need infrastructure, things that they can go away and lean on, course materials, workbooks, all this stuff. Then the second one is we need implementation. That is where you have like time for them to go and do things, but also maybe there's like calls, coaching, where they actually have a little bit of time with you for support, answer questions. So those are the first 2 I's of the guru. Now, the third eye of the guru, which is always the most important, is integrity. Are you fully embodying the result that they want to achieve? Now, I always say this, learning psychology, when we are a kid, 85% of our knowledge comes through imitation. Okay, when we're an adult, it's still 50 to 55% through imitation. So the most powerful thing you can do for your clients is actually embody what you are teaching, and then 55% of their results is going to come through that. Forget the rest. Forget hand-holding, all these one-to-one calls or whatever. If you want to have an impact, fucking live it. Be integral. Be who you say you are online, and you will have a huge impact on people. And that's the most... that's how to create the most impact within your business, and that's how to be a mentor, how to be a guru, and not a teacher.
Clip that, watch that back again. That's transferable to any niche, because it is a frequency. It is your authenticity. It is healing yourself so much that you can unapologetically show up as all parts of self, not trying to prove anything, just, wow, I get to be me. Mm-hmm. And what greater gift can you give anyone else than permission to be themselves, right? Mm-hmm. This goes against everything for the system that we've been speaking about. So with everything that you and Darren are creating, what is the vision for moving forward?
Yeah, I'll speak for myself. So the vision at the moment is, I think, to build the biggest like education business. 1, starting in Bali, and I think we might already be there. And then 2, kind of like taking over the online space. 1,
you are already there.
I think we are the biggest in Bali, but not in terms of just like numbers, even though like that is a very good metric to see.
I'm talking here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we just bring, like, I think what we've noticed with the online space is, like, both of us have had, I had background in education, he had a background in corporate. Then we kind of came into the online space and did the online space bro thing, like Wi-Fi cowboys, whatever. What I think's worked well with us is we have that, we're straddling that old world and new world, and there is actually like the benefit of the old world. We kind of have carried that forward, got rid of the shit bits, and then also the benefit of the new world. Whereas you see a lot of these new young guys who like have a model, have a system. Unfortunately, as great as like some of their services and products are, they kind of lack that weight and experience. And I think that's allowed people to kind of attach onto us from like a wide range of niches, because we kind of we've straddled both worlds. Yeah. And for example, like our P&L, like everything is so tight on the back end, and it's boring and it takes time. But like it's because we know that's important, because we know like if you like miss a crack here, then that goes downstream, and then this person's not happy, and now there's a conflict. Like, so we keep those things tight. And it's like that comes from Darren and his like corporate background, managing a team at Revolut. And then again, me with education, it's like, yeah, I didn't fucking throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's like, no, there's actually some amazing things here. Yeah. And we can actually teach you how to build an amazing education business through understanding actually how to teach, and also for ourselves, building the programs in a way that we create impact through what we're doing as well. So I think, yeah, the vision there is just to continue. For me personally, it's again, my mission is to continue to learn and continue to grow and get more XP. I love, right now, all I can see in front of me is the clients we have in front of us. That's what I see in front of me right now. And they are teaching me as much as I am teaching them about my own areas for development to become like a better coach and a better mentor. And so that's where my vision is personally at the moment. It's like into them, then what can I learn about myself, about my areas? How can I sharpen my sword and be a better coach?
Fantastic, mate. Great response as well. And I like that you're speaking for you and not Darren as well, because we've got that episode with Darren as well, the link in the description below. Such beautifully powerful, embodied men, but together what you guys are creating is amazing. I did say in the last mastermind, I was like, I'm so glad you listened to that itch and scratched it. We weren't going to do that part. That was everything for me. It was already getting so much, but that last day just unlocked so much. Don't know if you agree with this. For me, a lot of people, consciously or unconsciously, men will go for here, and women, but will go for men. They get into business to have so much family freedom. You don't want to be free from your family, but you want to give your family more freedom, more choices, better quality of life than maybe you perhaps had growing up. Not that you had a bad childhood or whatever, you just grow and expand. This is what I want to do. Is that the case for you? You want to take everything that you're doing individually and collectively with Darren, and just what's the overarching big vision for Tom, the man, beyond businessman?
Yeah, so freedom is multidimensional, and one of my big beliefs is that I am every day getting better at not my work-life balance, my work-life integration, and I don't want those things to be separate. And they aren't. They shouldn't be. My morning routine is I feel like I'm getting more and more to the place now where I don't feel like, oh, it's playtime now it's work time. It's like, oh, this is me doing my things. I don't like the phrase getting paid to exist because it can sound a little bit lazy, but it's when you're on a mission, like the things around you, there's tasks that you kind of like have to do and things and whatever, but it feels more and more that like that's integrated. And then as my priorities shift over time, so maybe that turns into family, maybe that turns into marriage, those things, it's like, okay, well, how does that work-life integration shift? And have I set things up in a way which allows for that work-life integration to deepen and continue? Beautiful, man.
Beautiful, man after my own heart, because that's everything we're trying to do here, is to clear up bits of the past that could thwart that family future. I want to heal the past trauma for better relationships. Your beautiful partner, got to meet her and talk to her the first time at the mastermind there. Everything that I would love men to understand predominantly is that just like personal and business is not separate, to me neither is love and success. Yep. Like, what's a greater success than to have love in your life? And so love is success, success is love. How does it feel though, having someone that's obviously very well read, very well embodied, met himself multiple times and continues to do so, man of faith, man of integrity? Obviously that frequency attracts a certain standard of women and partner into your life. How is being on mission, both as Tom the man and Tom the businessman, how is that facilitated with a conscious woman by your side? Yeah,
so it's an interesting question. I think I'll take it back. Like, my relationships in my life have always come to me. Whenever, like, I always have this great thought that, like, I will not date someone and go out of my way. I have to run over them. Like, I believe that they will put themselves in my tracks and be like, hey, I'm here. And that, I believe that to be true. And that keeps me, like, so the way I think about, like, attracting women, is there's a few things, that have been successful for me, that might work for other people, might not. But one, focus on your mission, and it's like focus on upgrading the avatar in a way that makes you attractive. not because you're doing it to be attractive, but like by doing the things, you end up becoming attractive and, you know, building a life you love. That is very attractive for a woman who wants you to lead. Like, oh, this person loves their life. Okay, that's attractive for me to come in. So if you are not attracting the quality of woman that you want, stop looking at dating techniques, pickup techniques, all of these things. Focus on how can I upgrade the avatar of my life in a way that, and then do a check-in. Like, do a check-in with like, okay, well, who am I attracting right now? Who's kind of throwing themselves in my orbit? Is this the quality of woman that I want to date? Not yet. Okay, I've got some work to do, and being disciplined with that, because those women who are like attracted to you, like they can end up being distractions. And then the other thing there that has worked for me is within the last couple of years, and again, we sometimes falter, but having a integrity with not sleeping with women that I'm dating initially, and like holding off on that. And also, funnily enough, not being friends with women and this I have a lot of women who I am friendly with, and I would consider friends, whatever we can do. But there's this idea that to allow a woman to come into your life, you need to create that space. And even though you could have technically be single, if you have emotional connections with other women, like you're emotionally intimate with other women, they feel that space within you and they see that there's someone there. So if you want to create space for like the right partner to come in, you have to cut off your emotional intimacy with other women. It doesn't mean that you're like, oh, I don't talk to women. And it's like, be friendly, be cordial, have acquaintances. You can chat and like, that's totally fine. But if you're emotionally intimate with another woman, the woman you're trying to attract, you have not created that space for her to come in.
Or be prepared to have your women with a lot of male friends. And I don't think you'll be wanting that. So again, you need to be the one if you want to call in the one.
Yes.
So important, brother.
Yeah.
So important. I love that. There's a lot of actual tangible tips that I think people can be like, you're a frequency, not a dating app.
Yeah.
Like you're swiping left and right. That's not the algorithm. That's not Bumble or Tinder, whatever people are using. That's your subconscious showing you looking for a quick fix. For me, I've never been on them because simple question I asked myself was like, do I want to date someone that's on a dating app?
Yep.
No. So don't go on.
Yeah.
For me, it was just like slapping God in the teeth.
Yep.
It's like, if I'm going on a dating app, and again, much like you spoke about the transgender thing very truthfully to who you are, but respectfully as well, it's to say I'm not judging anyone that uses these type of things, but again, like, ask yourself what frequency, and does it get to a point of desperation? Like, where are you not trusting the divine that that person's not out there, it's in here? And are you that person for yourself? Are you the partner you want to attract? So that was, I think it's really important, because it's the hookup culture and the quick fix, and like back in the day, even the DJ days, like where I'm come from, you needed to, the kids call it now game, it was banter when we had, you needed to have banter even to get the opportunity to buy a girl a drink in the beginning. You needed to have something, not just and it's like, I think it's the basis of human connection has been more and more skewed, and it's taken us further away from ourselves. So it's a lot of absolute gold that you've put in there. Is she just facilitating in terms of masterminds and stuff like that with the content? Is that just like an additional thing, or is she part of the team as well?
No, she's not part of the team. I mean, she's obviously a huge asset to me in my life personally, but she just does that anyway. She's got the content background and she loves documenting things, so it works out well.
Plus, my man is following his mission.
Yeah,
that's attractive.
Yeah,
I want to be part of it.
Yeah, and she also has her own mission as well now, which is I really love, and she's attracting a lot of women entrepreneurs at the moment, and she's been through it as well, like, and she's really proud of who she is becoming as a person. Like,
give her a shout out.
Yeah, give her a shout out, Julia. Fight no more, Julia. Yeah, there you are. You can follow her. But she's really attracting like a lot of really cool female entrepreneurs, almost parallel to kind of what we're doing as well. And I think like a lot of women look up to her and respect her because she has that physical mastery. She's a fighter, or she won't call herself a fighter, but she's put herself, in the ring. And I think a lot of women are like really attracted to kind of that sort of physical mastery side of things as well. And I think obviously she's really, since knowing me, has kind of really like fallen into her feminine as well. Yeah. Which is having now both of those things is amazing. And again, this is the beauty of partnerships, where it's like your woman is going to be like the perfect mirror to show you where you're lacking. Like, it's not easy being in a relationship. It's like it showcases like where you're not necessarily flaws, but like if you've got a high quality women, they're going to keep you to that high quality standard and more. And like, it's not just static of like, oh, you're this level. And then it's like, well, where's your growth? And they're going to be the reflection. Your woman's mood is often the very best reflection of like where you are showing up, and are you showing up in integrity? And I think, and also like how much they're in their feminine when they are around you. And personally, like, I'm very happy for a partner who can be in their masculine when they're out doing things. Yep. But then when you're together, is there that polarity there?
Yes.
And if there's not, there's probably some way where you're not showing up in integrity, which is causing that depolarization.
Yeah, 100% agree, mate. We had this conversation with Theo on a podcast that did, and I said, for me, don't know if you agree with this, I think the greatest compliment we can ever have as a man, as a woman that tells you or shows you that she feels safe in your presence. Mm-hmm. But it's your presence that makes her feel safe. It's not your doing, it's not your utility, it's not your performance, it's not the outcomes. It's just, here's a man that's rooted in his body, stands for something, and can have fun along the way. Let the little boy out, not the wounded boy, but like that cheeky chappy actually roam and play, because life's not meant to be serious, you know what I mean? Like watching you guys dance at the mastermind between different expressions between yourself, like we've got Quan there, like Elise, the dogs, like there is no, this is my life.
Yeah,
let me share my life with you guys so that you can go and share more of your life with more people, and here we go.
There's nothing to hide. And I mean, my parents, like, I was very blessed to have my parents out.
I never knew that, mate. I feel really ignorant. I would have said hello of that.
Yeah, I brought my parents out, my 80-year-old father and my mother as well. Like, they came out to Bali for 3 weeks, and like they came to the mastermind, and because it was great for them as well, because they're like, what is it you do? Like, is it legal? Are you sure? Like, and it was great for them to see, like, you know, the people we're working with, and you know, so that was an amazing thing. And also just feeling like I got nothing to hide from them either. Like some people, even like close family members, they're like, oh, you know, I don't have my parents on Instagram, like, or anything like that. They should show them what I'm actually doing. I'm like, what that's if you want to talk about freedom, like the freedom to be yourself, and like to allow all of those around you to be like, oh yeah, here's what's going on, like here's how I feel about this, like that's freedom, you know, that's real freedom. So that was a beautiful thing for me. Yeah,
if they're doing that with their parents, mate, it's just perpetuating that school box that we're talking about. Or sometimes the schooling system becomes an elongation and an extension of the box that some people have had at home as well. It's kind of goes back and forward, so we need to break free from that. So there's so many other different ways I could go through this, but I'm conscious of your time. I'm going to bring it back a little bit. Back to the genius, your zone of genius of what you're doing. If someone is struggling with their first step in their entrepreneurial journey and their frequency within that, what would be, or if they're feeling the itch to step outside the box, whatever that is, the hometown, the job, the relationship, whatever it would be, what practical advice would you give the person to take that first step?
Action precedes clarity. The path illuminates as you walk it. The next step is right in front of you, and you know what it is already. And it might not even feel like it's an entrepreneurial step. It could be that like there's a bank statement you need to clear. That could be the first step. Like the universe is letting you know what the next step of your, you know, soul or your personal mission is. All you have to do is tune in and be honest about what it is, and it's usually the thing you don't want to do. It's usually the thing you don't want to do, and the thing you're avoiding, that's usually the next step. So if you have that itch, and I believe, like, you know, God, the universe doesn't give us dreams without the ability or capability to actually fulfill them as well. So if you have a dream and you have something that you want to achieve, you definitely have the capability. If you can imagine it, that means you can touch it. You know, you can bring it into reality. So first thing, it's like, feel confident in the basics. You know, get yourself in order. Like, there's a lot to be saying of like these overnight one-hit wonders and like do this thing and you know it's this hack to make money or whatever. But it's like, get your foundations good. Your body, you know, relationships around you. Get things. Feel comfortable in that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just get your foundations good. And I think, you know, having some sort of physical practice really, really important. And then it's just as simple as like, just write down the life that you want, and then how do you feel? It's the inner world and the outer world. How do you want to wake up feeling? And just whatever comes to mind, and just read that out. And one of the things that really helped me when I was first started going is I had my vision, and I read my vision every morning and every night. I just read it. That's all. You know, I'd try and get into a bit of a meditative state. Sometimes I could, sometimes I couldn't, but I'd read the vision and it was there. And that was really, really powerful for me. And it was like what I want to, it was like internal and external world. So it was like looking out, like that vision, what does my life look like? And then that going in that future version of me, like, how do I feel? And that was really, really powerful for me. Yeah.
repetition is what anchors you into the frequency of that which you're wanting to attract, right? So
Yeah.
you need to put in the reps.
Yeah.
For sure. Right, mate, we're going to finish with something fun.
Oh yeah.
Right. Okay. Because the music, when you started speaking about it, I actually want to include more music in my delivery of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, I talk about music, I hear people talk about music, my whole frequency shifts instantly. I was like, that needs to be in. And it guides people onto healing when I'm doing certain things. However, right. So, tell me you saw the movie Kevin and Perry.
Do you know you're gonna? I haven't.
No!
I know the memes from it, but I've seen bits of it. Go on.
We're going to go for it anyway, right?
We'll go for it.
You know the actor, so Wales you're from, yeah? Rhys Evans.
Yeah.
You know
Who?
that Rhys Evans, the big Welsh guy. He's in like Notting Hill, and I'm sure he was in a Harry Potter.
Probably recognise.
He's in Kevin and Perry. He's Eyeball Paul. Is the name of the DJ. Puts straight vodka in his eyeball. And Kevin and Perry from Harry Enfield, they're trying to blag their way into the clubs.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right. He's like, house or garage?
Yeah, I've heard this meme.
Right?
Yeah.
He's like, acid house or pumping house? Balearic pumping or commercial pumping? And then he's like, Sasha chicane, and like Sash, and he's like, and then they don't get in because they say Sash,
right?
Chicane. So that was the first couple. But I'm going to quick fire.
Okay.
Dance music or R&B?
Anime.
R&B.
Oh yeah, dance music. Like anime. Dance
the
music.
Accent again.
Yeah.
House or techno?
I'm actually gonna go with techno. Yeah.
Frankie Knuckles or Derek Carter?
Frankie Knuckles.
Derek May or Jeff Mills?
Jeff Mills.
Sven Vath or Cal Cox?
Sven Vath. Yeah.
Pete Tong, Paul Oakenfold?
Paul Oakenfold.
Sasha or Digweed?
Say again.
Sasha or Digweed?
Oh, Sasha. Yeah.
Vinyl or CDJs?
I'm gonna go see DJs.
Record box or Serato?
Record box.
Burning Man or Glastonbury?
Because of like the recent I think Burning Man nowadays. Yeah, like Glastonbury looks a bit. Yeah.
Ibiza or Miami?
Probably Ibiza.
DJing or producing?
Producing.
Darren or Julia?
Both. I can have both. You know, interesting about them, like they're the two most important people in my life. You know that they are born on exactly the same day. Exactly the same day. And I'm not huge into like astrology, but on the astrological chart, it's exactly opposite. That I'm 8th of September, they're 8th of March, which is exactly 6 months opposite.
Say both Pisces.
Yeah, and both opposite me, but to the day, and both born on exactly the same day, same year as well.
That's crazy.
Wild, eh?
I love that stuff.
Yeah. So both.
Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. I was looking forward to this as well, and I love that you've just follow your bliss. Joseph Campbell says, like, you don't need to be in a box. Keep doing your thing. Get clear on who you are. Do the inner work. Clarify the mission. Be a good person. Good things happen. Yeah.
Thanks so much, brother. Thank you for having me.
Much.
That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. Rock and roll. Easy.
Thank you, man. Wow, thank you to another amazing guest. I hope you got as much from that as I did. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. It really helps. And if someone popped into your head while you were watching, please send it to them. Sometimes healing starts with a link from someone who loves us. And if you want to go deeper into healing your own root cause trauma that's blocking you from the love you deserve, please book a call with me at the link below. Beautiful souls like yours are worthy of that love. See you on the next pod. Wow, thank you to another amazing guest. I hope you got as much from that as I did. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, it really helps. And if someone popped into your head while you were watching, please send it to them. Sometimes healing starts with a link from someone who loves us. And if you want to go deeper into healing your own root cause trauma that's blocking you from the love you deserve, please book a call with me at the link below. Beautiful souls like yours are worthy of that love. See you on the next pod.